Okay, I've bought 2 trimmers for 20 bucks. They were both 10 bucks a piece. This one that I'm working on is a Weedeater XR-50. It's pretty small looking. May not be on your on this video, but it sure as hell looks small on my point of view. The way it looks right now, it's pretty small. I guess the from here to there, it's probably like 19-20 inches long to that first curve. And right now, I'm getting into it, and this fuel line is hard as a rock. It does not want to bend, and if it does, it just goes back to the way it was. Like, I'll bend it and then let go. It's that petrified, and before I tore into it, I dumped fuel down the spark plug hole and gave it a whirl. And I think it's a 50cc motor, because, you know, it's an XR. And then this other one I got is a John Deere 350G, which I actually tried to look that up on YouTube, and nothing came up. All that came up was a excavator. As you can see. Focus, damn you. Alright, there you go. It's a John Deere 350G. It is very suspiciously similar to an Echo Weedeater. To me, it looks like it, because I got a 2100 over in the next room. Alright, it's a small little room. But it's a GT 2400, I think. And I tried figuring out, this clock spring inside this pull start is completely broken. It's rusted in there. I pulled it apart and just corrosion was in it, and rust and water. He told me this thing has been sitting out there for more than 5 years. They originally told me they found it in outside someone's property. And they asked the owner. Well, this was like a mini owner. I don't know what I'm saying now. Now I just had a brain fart. But the clock spring in this is broken. I'm gonna have to replace that. The only thing that I found on YouTube that was similar to this was a John Deere 21C. And I think this is like a 1970s model, because it's got this shut-off switch here, this toggle switch, which only the 80s through 70s stuff has. I'm just assuming it's age based on how it looks, which I should never do that, because I'm an idiot, and I don't think before I speak. I just throw things out there. So, this will probably be the last thing I get running. But this XR, I cranked over, and it had very good compression. And I found out that the fuel line in it was pretty stiff. If you could see properly, the darker spot right here is where it didn't go into the tank, and this lighter spot, focus, damn you, focus, I gotta hold it still, it's finicky. Come on. Well, you can see it a little bit, but this lighter area is where it went into the tank, and there was no filter on it, and the tank was full of water that I dumped out. And I never worked on one of these, so I was just channeling my inner musty one and see if I could figure out what the heck this thing is all about. And I found out that the air filter is right on the bottom, because you can see the car. This is the top of the engine. You can see. I think you already know. This is the top of the engine, and this is the bottom of it. And this carburetor's just on the bottom. This is really weird. It's kind of like my my Ryan weed whacker that I had way back on my channel, probably when I started. I shown this Ryan Weed Whacker. It was an older one. And then I found this in it. This was just on here. It's completely petrified as well. It just feels like Teflon tape. So there is tape on there, if you can see it. Besides just rubber. So I think this was just made as a seal of some sort. Maybe to cool off the carburetor? Huh. Never seen that before. But yeah, it has spark, it has good compression. I was able to get it running and the clutch engaged and spun the front, but there's a cover missing for the string. But the container that holds the string isn't falling out. So I think it's fine without it. But this has a choke, no primer, same as this one. I'm used to a primer one, but you know, it makes things way more simple with one fuel line and just a choke. And it's got 2 adjustment screws. They're flathead. That means I can just take a normal flathead screwdriver and just twist away, if that makes sense. But yeah, tiny gas cap, I should say. Thing is small as hell. Almost looks like it goes on a 2-liter Coca-Cola bottle. Or an oil can. Yeah, it's small. That's the size. That's some bug spray right there. Compared to that size. Look at that shit. That thing's small. Let's just say this ratchet can barely fit in there. Not because it's square, it's just too large. But yeah, it's a small gas tank. It's not a commercial trimmer. It's not meant for huge lawns. It's only meant for like small areas. It just says lawn trimmer and edger. So I was like, when I said edger, I knew I had to have it. Because I was looking through the weed eaters, and I haven't worked on one in a while, and I do have a working one here. Now I know what you're going to be asking. Why did you waste $20 on a couple of weed eaters that you don't know if it's worth fixing? You got a perfectly good Walmart one right here. Well, see, the thing is, this thing does the job, but it doesn't, in my opinion, it just doesn't have enough power. And I have a Husqvarna 128 LD that needs a cylinder and head, or a cylinder and a piston, because it seized up on me, but it unseized itself, and now it doesn't have any compression. So I bought this, and it does the job, but honestly, I want a better trimmer, like something like this or this, with like 50 cc's or more, because we got some gnarly weeds. And I did get the Craftsman running. Ow. I smashed my nuts. That hurt. I did get it running. It's been like a couple weeks since I tried to start it. So I did get it running. Well, of course I got it running. Why wouldn't it? And now my nuts are hurting because I hit it by accident. So, I don't know. It's just, in my opinion, the older stuff is better than the newer shit. Because if you try to, you could buy a completely cheap riding tractor for like $1,000. Compared to this stuff. Back then, this stuff was better than the new shit today that they're making. And the Murray does run. I just put an older carburetor on it. I just gotta get a newer primer one. I do have one over there, but it's missing the primer and the seat in it. The rubber seat. But yeah. I don't know about this. I think this is just a knockoff trimmer that John Deere. I think this was just made by Echo back then, and it was just and John Deere put their name on it. Just put a random frickin' logo on here. And it's a straight shaft. I love my straight shafts, but it's a little bent. Let's see. Line you up there. You can see the front? See how it's like veered off to the left a little? And then back straight, what it looks to be. See it? Yeah, I have to bend that back, but it's fine. It'll still work. And I don't know if it runs. I haven't tried it. I've only tried this one because the pull starter and this one was broken. So I gotta find a clock spring for this one. But in the meantime, I'm gonna work on this. So, yay. An unknown trimmer. My bet is that that's a Chinese knockoff of an Echo. Probably. Because I looked up John Deere 350G on YouTube, and the first thing that came up was an excavator, or a crawler. From what it said. Who knows? It's just, in my opinion, no, not my opinion. And what I think it is, it's just a cheap knockoff of a Echo or a John Deere. Or maybe just a test, or a prototype of a Weedeater. I don't know. But I'll get to work and see if I can get this one running. I think I will. If the diaphragm and gaskets in it are bad. Which they are gonna be bad, because telling by this fuel line how it's frickin' petrified. I think it took a Viagra. Yeah, that's been sitting for a while. But yeah, it's all cast aluminum. Pretty good. So if I drop that off of if I ever drop that out of my car, it's still gonna be in one piece. It's just gonna have chip marks in it from it hitting the road. But I'll get this running or see if I can get this running today. And if I get it running, I'll turn the video back on and post another video.